You wake up. The room is spinning very gently round your head, or at least it would be if you could see, which you can't. It is pitch black. Turn on the light. I've been playing the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game. This is a game that was released by Infocom in 1984. It's one of my favourite video games, but I say that with trepidation because it's also one of the hardest games I've ever played. Whenever I just even think about playing it, I get this dual feeling of both a deep yearning to play it and a sense of total dread. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was originally a 1970s British radio play by Douglas Adams, which he then later turned into a book, and then he later helped turn it into this video game. Look under the bed. There's nothing there. Well, a few soiled handkerchiefs, a book you thought you'd lost, a couple of foreign coins, and something else which can't be fully described in a family game, but nothing you'd actually want. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a text adventure, which these days is more likely to be called interactive fiction. Yes, this is a game that's simply words on a screen. Opening your gown reveals a thing your aunt gave you which you don't know what it is, a buffered analgesic and pocket fluff. Eat the analgesic. I really like reading books on e-readers with e-paper displays because the displays are just so easy on the eyes. A few years ago, I was able to install this game on my Kobo Mini ebook reader. It just required a bit of firmware modding because this e-reader, it turns out, is running on Android. The whole process is fairly easy, and I was able to install Frotz, which is the system that runs the interactive fiction text adventures. And I was really pleased that I was now able to play this game on an e-paper display. But I was finding the whole typing text input thing to be a little bit clunky on this display. There's a lot of lag when typing, and the display update wasn't exactly what I was looking for. As you part your curtains, you see that it's a bright morning. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, the meadows are blooming, and a large yellow bulldozer is advancing on your home. This game not only involves the destruction of your home, but it involves destruction of the entire Earth, which is why the game is about hitchhiking around the entire galaxy. I searched around for a while and eventually I found this Android app called Audio IF, which stands for Audio Interactive Fiction. And this looked to be the sort of thing that I needed. However, I wouldn't be able to run this on the Kobo Mini because the Mini runs a really early version of Android. Also, it doesn't have a microphone. But I do have this other device. It's a Yota Phone. This is a strange Russian-built phone which has a standard OLED screen on one side, and on the back it's got an e-paper display. It runs Android 4, and being a phone, it has a microphone. So this is looking like just what I need. I installed Audio IF on here and got the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy running. And this is the dream interface I've always wanted. A voice input system and an e-paper display to read on. Turn on the light. The app accepts voice commands using Google Voice Recognition, so it's fairly accurate. Now, when using the voice mode, the app does read out the text to you because this is designed mostly for sight-impaired people.
The light is now on. Bedroom, in the bed. The bedroom is a mess. It is a small bedroom with a...
But since I want to read the text from the screen, I simply turn the volume down to 0. The whole system is a little bit clunky, but generally it works quite well. I'm really pleased. Ford, what about my home? I can simply speak my commands into the text adventure using relatively natural language. Infocom had the most sophisticated text parser of any text adventures, allowing for really flexible command inputs. And all of this was running on 8-bit systems back in the early 1980s. This all makes playing the game quite a lot of fun, especially with Douglas Adams's highly comedic writing style. And the way the game is laid out, Douglas really encourages you to inhabit this world with highly entertaining descriptions of things in the game. The barman gives you a cheese sandwich. The bread is like the stuff that stereos come packed in. The cheese would be great for rubbing out spelling mistakes. And margarine and pickle have performed an unedifying chemical reaction to produce something that shouldn't be, but is, turquoise. Since it's clearly unfit for human consumption, you're grateful to be only charged £1 for it. There are lots of descriptions included in the game that are not part of the actual game itself. But this is where your problems start, because each time you enter a command, it counts as another turn in the game. And you only get a limited number of turns, and to progress through the game you have to achieve certain things in a limited number of turns. But the game doesn't warn you of that. If you go over the number of turns, you simply can't win the game, even though you're still playing it. It's incredibly frustrating. I find this game almost impossible to play without some sort of hint system, and there are lots of walkthroughs that have been compiled over the years. And one of the problems is each walkthrough does vary slightly from each other, because the way the Infocom flexible command input system works, and the way the game isn't always completely linear either. Also, if you follow the walkthroughs too much, you miss out on exploring all the side descriptions that are not necessarily part of the main narrative. And these are some of the best bits in the game. The dog is deeply moved. With powerful sweeps of its tail, it indicates that it regards this cheese sandwich as one of the great cheese sandwiches. 9 out of 10 pet owners could happen by at this point, expressing any preference they pleased. But this dog would spurn both of them and all their tins. This is a dog which has met its main sandwich. It eats with passion and ignores a passing microscopic space fleet. I had this particularly awesome moment when I was just talking, not even to the game itself, but the game heard me, and the game interpreted it as one of the commands. You can see nothing, feel nothing, hear nothing, taste nothing, smell nothing, and you're not entirely certain who you are. It sounds like an existential crisis. That wasn't actually intended as a game command. Right, now it's going a bit crazy. It is of course well known that careless talk costs lives, but the full scale of the problem is not always appreciated. For instance, at this exact moment you said, "Sounds like an existential crisis." A freak wormhole opened up in the fabric of space-time continuum and carried your words far, far back in time across an almost infinite reaches of space to a distant galaxy where strange and warlike beings were poised on the brink of frightful interstellar battle. The two opposing leaders were meeting for the last time. A dreadful silence fell across the conference table as the commander of the Volurgs, resplendent in his black jewelled battle shorts, gazed levelly at the Grunt leader squatting opposite him in a cloud of green, sweet-smelling steam. As a million sleek and horribly beweaponed star cruisers poised to unleash the electric death at his single word of command, the Volurg challenged his vile enemy to take back what he'd said about his mother. The creature stirred in its sickly, broiling vapour, and at the very moment the words, "Sounds like an existential crisis," drifted across the conference table. Unfortunately, in the Volurg tongue, this was the most dreadful insult imaginable, and there was nothing for it but to wage terrible war for centuries. Eventually the error was detected, but over 250,000 worlds, their peoples and cultures perished in the Holocaust. You've destroyed most of a small galaxy. Please pick your words with greater care. Okay. This game is just so much fun and frustrating and existential, and it's moments like these that make the whole thing worthwhile. Unfortunately, on this playthrough, I was unable to get the Babelfish to stick in my ear within a certain number of turns. And although the game would keep letting me play, I've read that without the babelfish, I'm not able to complete the game. The dispenser is tall, has a button at around eye level and says babelfish in large letters. Anything dispensed would probably come out the slot at around knee level. It bears a small label which reads, "Another fine product of the Serious Cybernetics Corporation." I had a lot of fun on this playthrough in the game, even though I didn't get very far. I'm really pleased I got the whole voice input system up and running. Douglas Adams, the author of this story, is a genius, and I can highly recommend his books. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.